What's up, guys? What's going on? Another paint job, you know what I mean? Same stuff, different day, if you feel what I'm saying. Another bedside. It's a green Ford bedside. I'll show you how to prep it up from this and then take it to paint. So let's do it. So I've been around a lot of paint lines, and most of them like PPG, BASF, and like Spies Hector, you can paint directly over this factory E-coat without sanding it. But the reason why I always sand it is because you have things like this, and these are like rub marks from the box that it comes in. So, you know, this will show up in your paint job later on. You'll see like indentations in the paint itself. And then also sometimes the primer looks like it's been rolled on with like a household paint roller. It looks, you know, the texture is always so terrible. So I just like always sanding these down with like either like a 400 grit or a 500 grit. I use 500 grit because that's kind of just what was here when I got here. But before I got here, I've always used 400 grit, which is like the lowest grit you can go for most waterborne paints that you can paint directly over. But regardless of that, you just want to sand that texture kind of smooth. So we'll do that now. And a few stickers. We got one right here. We got a few stickers inside. And the easiest way to remove any sticker is to spray it and walk away. Let it soak for a little bit, then you can come back. Most of the time you can just peel it straight off while it's still a little bit wet, damped. But if it ends up drying up, like I forget sometimes, you can just spray it again. But the more times you spray it and let it soak, the easier it's gonna come off and the less work you have to do. Alrighty, so I got my 500 grit on my 6-inch orbital DA, and I'll just put it on. And like I said, I'll just sand this texture till it's uniform and even, and you'll understand what that means once you get going. And then like I said, you just want to make sure you get rid of these rub marks as well, or anything else that doesn't feel right or look right. All right, now that we got that all sanded down, like I said, you can paint over the E-coat directly, so we really don't have to worry about the hard to reach areas, so we can be a little bit lazy. But you do need to focus on the face of it and make sure the texture is completely flat. And also we had to sand the front because there's just a little bit of rock guard, but beyond that, I'll probably take some red Scotch-Brite over everything just to make sure it's all good to go. And then we'll blow it off and we can put the rock guard on. Coming back to those soaked stickers, it looked like somebody's tried to pull it off already and help me out, but if you're not soaking it, you just make it worse. But once you soak it, it comes off that easy. The other side would have came off easier if this was one whole sticker, but since they had already previously tore it, it's gonna come off in pieces. And it leaves a little bit of adhesive sometimes, so you'll just hit that with wax and grease remover one more time. And your nail can literally take that off. Just be gentle in case there's any imperfections. You don't wanna mess up your nail. Ask me how I know. And then a microfiber rag. Voila! A little bit of red Scotch-Brite. Like I said, this isn't really needed. I just like to hit this little inner part and get these edges down a little bit. Make sure everything is really, really smooth. Give it another quick blow. And then our last time, wax and grease removing it. So we need to make sure we get it really, really good, because once we put that 3M rock guard on, we would not be able to do this again because this melts it off. Then we grab our microfiber rag and give it a quick wipe. These microfiber rags are the bee's knees if you haven't had a chance to give them a try. Like I always state that how cost effective they are. My friend Ali Paints, or Oli Paints, Joel, you can check him out all over social media. Really popular guy. He taught me the trick about the glass cleaner and the microfibers. And I've honestly never looked back, bro. I literally cannot describe how much better these microfiber rags are. All right, since we're not gonna be sanding it anymore, once that wax and grease remover is pretty much flashed off, we'll hit it with some glass cleaner, and then that just removes all this excess dust if there's any. If you can see the white marks, that's kind of like just smeared dust, so the glass cleaner really cleans that. It also is more cost effective than the waterborne cleaner, and so I use the waterborne cleaner last. So we'll get this all cleaned up, make sure our tape sticks, our rod guard sticks, and then once we're done, we're able to put it in the booth and tape it up. Give it a nice good coating. So a lot of people always ask me how much is the waterborne cleaner in comparison to the in comparison to the glass cleaner. And so like our waterborne cleaner is probably like 200 bucks, maybe a gallon, I believe. A gallon lasts probably a month or so. In comparison to the $20 six pack of glass cleaner. And that probably lasts me, if I bought a whole pack, because right now I just share with the detailer. But if I had bought a whole pack of glass cleaner, it would probably last me at least 2 months, I would think, if not a month. So even a month at $20 in comparison to $200 it's a really, really nice bargain, if you ask me. So my boss always thinks like, he's like, oh, you just do such a good job with materials. Oh my God, we love you, this and that, but he don't know that I'm cheating with glass cleaner. All right, this is the opposite side of the new panel. It has a rock guard on it, and in order to put the rock guard on the new side, kind of similar, you just want to measure this side. And the best way to do that is just with some tape. Just rip off a piece. It helps to have a point of some sort. I put the point right where the rock guard starts. Take my tape to the end of the panel and rip it flush. I'm gonna do it again here, where the rock guard starts, end of my panel, rip it flush. And we'll grab a new piece for the end. Started the panel, rip it flush. Started the rock guard, rip it flush. You know what I mean? All right, so once you do that, so now that you're done, just transfer these pieces to the opposite side. Kind of remember the general area where these pieces are on this side, and then put them on that general area on the opposite side. And then remember, this is reverse. So this will be the front on that side, this will be the middle on that side, and then this will be the rear on that side. All right, so we remember this one goes near the bolt hole to the front. This one was the middle. And then this one was the end. Let's scooch it back so you can see it a little bit. Bam. Something like that. Something like that. All right, then we're gonna grab some tape. We're gonna put across to make a line. You can use 3/4 inch folded tape or flutter tape. I just make it with my leg. It's 1.5 inches. Bam. Then you just kind of line it up. The best part about this, it really doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to be on there because it's real minimum and it's real low. And you're only gonna notice it being like horribly off if it's really horribly off. But if it's pretty much similar to the other side, you'll be good. I wanna make sure the area where my rock guard goes is completely scuffed. So we'll grab that Scotch-Brite again, just to make sure everything is completely scuffed up for the rock guard to adhere to. I'm gonna wipe it clean. We'll throw a piece of paper on. All right, then we grab our rock guard, but before we can do that, we have a little bit of bare metal that we need to cover, so we'll just hit that with some etch. All right, when using this 3M rock guard, normally I would tape off this whole area if I'm using like the one that you can attach to the air hose, but since this is just the aerosol and this is such a small amount, I'm gonna just tape off this area up here because not that much is gonna go on the floor and no big deal. All right, we're gonna give this a good shake and we're gonna go. Pull it a little bit. You wanna make sure you do nice thin coats. And I like to wipe the tip a little bit. If you have a rag with lacquer thinner, that's much better to wipe the tip with. Probably gonna do like 2 more coats of this aerosol and then we'll probably pull it because like I said, it's a real small amount on the opposite side. You barely could see it or feel it. You don't want to put too much of this 3M aerosol rock guard on at once because it starts to solvent pop and it'll run really easily too. So nice and slow is the way to go. Yeah, 1 more would be more than enough. So now we'll pull it, this paper, and we should be ready for the booth. Alrighty, we got it all taped up in the booth. I got some waterborne cleaner and my microfiber rags. Remember, I've always liked the microfiber rags because they leave a lot less lint than the rags that claim to be basically lint-free. And I like doing 1 rag really wet and 1 rag dry, just a wipe on, wipe off process. Let's just ensure that I don't leave any waterborne left on the panel. Because sometimes when I used to spray the panel, I always left waterborne cleaner in like cracks and crevices, and then I would never find it until I'm actually painting and causing like fish eyes or whatnot. So this just ensures that I have a cleaner paint job and I don't have any mistakes, or a lot less mistakes. So we'll wipe it on. I'll wipe it off. When you're done wiping it down with the waterborne, then you can hit it with your tack cloth. And I like these crystal tack rags. They're beige, so I call them beige crystal tack rags. Whenever you get a brand new one, and you know you get to use it, a brand new one, some guys like to bake it because they're really waxy and can leave like fish eyes. So again, when you're opening a brand new one, what you want to do is open it all the way up and then turn it completely inside out, and you can use it without having to bake it. But if you open it up and use that same side that's just protruding out, you're gonna get a lot of problems in your paint. So we're gonna turn that inside out, then we're just gonna fold it back up. Bam. We're gonna start on the front of this bedside since that's not as important as the whole face of it. So if there is anything waxy by the time we get to the face, it'll be pretty much on the parts that no one cares about. Then we're gonna hit the top and the inside. Inside of the bedside, inside of this light, where the light sits. All right, and then we can go ahead and start from the bottom. Not that it matters. And then work our way up. We're pressing kind of firm, but not too firm. We're not scrubbing with it, you know what I mean? Just wanna wipe it. Takes a bit of practice sometimes, but you'll get used to it. You gotta mess up, trial and error. That's the best way to learn about paint, unfortunately. All right, when I'm done tacking, I like to hit it with my anti-stack gun, because wiping this down and tacking off, actually the whole entire process of prepping it can create a static charge, and that can be an invisible enemy that you're fighting and can make your paint jobs look that much dirtier. So these anti-stack guns, while they cost a lot, they're really effective. We're going to be using our 5650 waterborne sealer, which is not direct to metal, so we have to cover any bare metal spots with some edge primer. Give it like 2 good coats, just to leave it kind of translucent. Once that's flashed, we can put on our sealer. This just helps the sealer bite onto bare metal because bare metal is really, really hard for paint to stick to. And this is also for corrosion protection. So for the 5650 waterborne sealer, I will be using my J 5500 130 tip. All right, we got the sealer on and it's dehydrated. I'm gonna use this green hi-tec rag just to make sure there's no overspray or anything, that dirt they got in there that could be wiped off, you know what I mean? That'll make your paint jobs that much cleaner. For base coat, I'm gonna use my Luma Exodus 1.3 tip and my Sunpro light. This will be at 26 PSI and we'll do a coat and a half, one for coverage and the other one and a half a coat for orientation. Alrighty, once everything is pretty much dehydrated, you kind of want to gander at it, kind of like a blend. You want to make sure there's no dark spots, like any modeling, anything that you don't like, because if you don't like it when it's dry, you will not like it when it's cleared. I can tell you that now, trust me. I've already done it for you, so you don't have to. I'll take this green hi-tec rag. We'll wipe down any overspray or maybe any flakes that didn't lay accordingly. We did this to the sealer and we forgot to use our stat gun, and we don't have any dirt, so you don't necessarily need a stat gun. It's just, you know, in this game it's better to be proactive than reactive, you know what I mean? It's better to use it and then not need it than not use it and need it. So we'll actually use the stat gun this time, since we wiped it all down with this hi-tec rag, this anti-stat gun. Alrighty, for clear coat, we're going to use my favorite gun, the Luma 3 Exodus. This is the 1.5 tip and the Sunpro light, and this is Spies Hector 8600 High Solids Optimum Clear. It's a wet on wet clear, so we'll do one coat wet, probably wait 60-second flash, do a half a coat, call it good. Appreciate you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, please.